So, Bobby, I want to talk about one thing here. In your one of your speech, you actually mentioned a particular formula to how to connect with people, and that was caring plus communication. You got connections. So we know in English terms, okay, what does caring mean? What does communication and connection mean? But I want to step into much deeper into this conversation. Like, let's start with the caring. I care about someone. I care about my parents, so I call them every day. Or maybe I care about some person, so I would do my best to help that person, even if they know or don't know. In what you think, like, what are your thoughts on the caring part of this formula?
Well, I mean, you know, I would say the most important thing about caring is caring about others versus yourself, right? So there's a genuine, authentic caring that comes to empathize with others, to be kind to others, to be compassionate to others, to love and forgive others. And I think that caring piece is something that for some people it takes a lot of work. They need, 20% of the world apparently are lacking empathy. So it takes time to hone those skills and figure that stuff out, as opposed to caring for just yourself. And again, we're going from like narcissism to something that's a little bit more, that's better out there. So for me, the whole piece of caring is, is it genuine? Is it authentic? Does it come from the right place? What is the intention behind that caring? Because, there's some people who care because they want to go on Instagram and say, hey, look at me, I'm feeding the homeless, I'm cool. Like that's not caring.
Yeah.
That's caring with the intent to serve the self. Caring to serve others, with selflessness. That's where it really helps. There's people that I've met over the years where, I helped without any sort of expectation of return. Like I remember I was at an event, a networking event, and I did this whole speech on finding your purpose and leveraging your brand and, feeling lost. Some people feel lost and feel unstuck. This woman came up to me and she told me, and I was intimidated by her because she was, very good looking and, and younger. So I was like, I get intimidated by that. But anyway, she looked nervous. She's like, your stuff really moved me, and she's like, I'm really feeling stuck. And I'm like, it's okay. I said, it's okay. This is a safe place. Tell me what you're feeling. She's like, well, she told me that she had an abusive relationship, and now she and her little son were in a halfway house. And then she just broke down crying, like just bawling. And then next thing you know, I'm giving her a hug for like 2 minutes, trying to console her. And I said, it's okay. Like, and, I was compelled to just help her. And so for the next 2-3 years, I helped her. So, let me get you free passes to this event. You gotta go to this thing. And I was connecting her to tons of people over like a couple of years. I got nothing out of it. She wasn't a client. I just wanted to help her because I felt so compelled and I was really moved by her story. And now, she's doing great and we're still friends, and that's awesome.
You still connected with her now?
Yeah, we're friends.
Oh, that's so good. Amazing. So we got the caring part. What about the communication part, Bobby? Like we are talking with now, recording in the episode, we can say like this is a communication, or we talk with someone other, like having a conversation is communication. But what are your perspective of communication to build the connection?
Yeah, so I mean, I often talk a lot about thought leadership. And so when it comes to thought leadership, there's 3 things you can do to become a better thought leader. Number 1 is to build connection. So whether you're building, deep connections or broad connections with followers, building relationships and meaningful connections is key. Number 2 is innovating new ideas, new content, and talking about things that are out there. And number 3 is communication skills, storytelling, public speaking, writing, all that kind of stuff. And so I think one of the things with communication is, in the TED Talk, I talk about communicating openly, assertively, be willing to talk about the things that most people don't want to talk about, which includes vulnerability and authenticity and being courageous. But I think that a lot of us could do well to learn to be better communicators. Now, some of us could learn to communicate better with compassion and empathy. Some of us could learn to be better storytellers. Some of us could learn to be better listeners, because that's communication too, active listening, communicating that way. And so I think that those are skills that go a long way to creating that impact that you want. So if you care genuinely and you communicate very, very well, that's how you create that connection quickly, easy, and more deeply. So I think when it comes to communication, think about what are you good at in terms of what are you good at communicating, and what are you not that great at that you need to work on to try to keep building your communication skills, whether it's speaking, writing, storytelling, you name it.
Amazing, amazing. How much you think like the listening part is important in communication? Because I have seen people love to talk about themselves, but how much do you think is the listening is important for them?
Well, as I said before in the beginning, I said that you want to invest in other people and hear their story. So that means what you're doing is you're asking questions to listen to people.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important and it's a key piece of connection. Like if you can't listen, then you can't change anything. If you can't listen, you can't understand somebody. The idea of connection to bridge understanding with people, empathize with who they are, have compassion and love for their story and where they come from, to connect on a deeper level with values. And so listening is a big part of that. I mean, empathy, for example, you have to listen to people. Empathy requires you to listen to what they're going through so you can understand how they're feeling. And if you understand how they're feeling, then you create a deeper connection. So, empathy and listening go hand in hand. And then once you've listened, you can have compassion to take action.
So true. And thank you so much for sharing that. Now we got the caring part, the communication part. You join this together, you get the memorable connections. I love it. Love